is the second of our championship contests this evening. Once again sponsored, I'm delighted to say, by Powerhouse. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a contest of 5 rounds of boxing to decide the destination of the World Sports Organisation British Light and Middleweight Championship. Would you please welcome the challenger for the title, boxing out of the red corner from Kingston. Please give it up for Rocky Moscus. Across the ring, boxing out of the red corner, making the first defence of his championship. Would you please give a big warm welcome to the reigning WSO British Light Middleweight Champion, Trevor Scrapper Smith. 5 rounds of boxing, and this contest once again has been sponsored by Powerhouse, and your timekeeper is Mr. James Daly. Thank you.
Well, it's former pro Rocky Moscus, who fought many of the best professionals in a 35-fight career. He only ever won once, but truthfully he was a lot better than that, and he only ever got stopped once by Ashley Theophane at York Hall on my own show. So this is interesting. I haven't seen Trevor Smith box for a while. He's certainly very game. He'll fancy this one. However, Moscus is, as a pro, he knows what to do, so let's just see what happens. Of course, I think you fought Moscus, didn't you, Floyd, at one point?
Yeah, strangely enough, I was 14 years out of the sport, and for some reason I thought I decided to give it another go. But Rocky's very durable, and he's never gets stopped, get knocked out, you know. So he's and he looks a bit better tonight than he did when I watched him.
Well, I did watch the fight when you boxed him, and you know, you've been out the ring 14 years. He obviously hadn't. He fights every couple of weeks, but it was a half-decent contest. Of course, in your prime, I think Rocky himself would admit that he wouldn't have lived with you, but it was a nice fight for the crowd.
Yes.
Anyway, let's see what happens here. And Smith landing some half-decent attacks. That won't faze Rocky Moscus in the slightest. But nonetheless, point scoring, of course. Well, I've got to be honest, knowing Rocky's durability, perhaps I'm a little bit biased, but I can't see this one. I can't see any stoppages here, Floyd. I really can't. Can you?
I found that the fight can be made easy with you. Like Trevor Smith is, he can do whatever he wants with, you know, and you should make the game as easy as you can, you know. And unfortunately, we'll see, you know.
Well, that's right, and that's a very fair thing. I mean, he can make the game as easy as he can. Whether he does or not is another issue. As I said, in a 35-fight career, I saw Moscus box some very top boys in the professional game, and I never saw him hardly ever get hurt. And funny enough, the only time I saw him get hurt was against Sherman and Lane. He got hurt against Theophane and knocked him out in the round. Well, here we go out for round 2, and like I was saying, Rocky Moscus doesn't get hurt, and he knows what he's doing. Trevor Smith coming with some nice shots, but Rocky comes back with a decent looking left hook.
Rocky's been around too long to. He knows what he's doing, you know, and he knows
No, he certainly does. Like I said, the only time he fought a fight against Luton Bedford professional Sherman Lane, who both of them were looking for wins at the time because the board demanded that they do something. The board, of course, knowing full well that they were very competent, but they were opponents. Actually, surprisingly, Rocky came off worse, and he was hurt by some of Sherman's body punches on that night. But that's the only time, apart from Theophane, that I've ever seen him get hurt. He's fought at the very top level, and it's, he knows what to do, and it's fun. And again, Trevor Smith finding that out here, I think, Floyd.
Yes, he's a bit too clever for him.
And there you go. You see, of course, there's the professional. As soon as he shipped a shot, he held. And of course, holding is a very important part of the game, isn't it?
Yes, it's.
I'm not saying you held. But if you're in trouble, you've got to hold.
That's right. Yes. When you're in there, it's all about you taking advantage of the other person. You're there to win, and that's the bottom line.
Well, I was on the way up. I was sharing a car with Chris Wellington, who got a stoppage win earlier on in the card, and I was trying to teach him or tell him something about infighting, and he looked at me as I was talking Martian. And of course, I mean, how did you feel? I know you weren't. You were definitely a boxer rather than a fighter, in a certain sense. But do you think that the infighting is something that the Mexicans and the Yanks have got over us?
I was very lucky to be well schooled from probably one of the best amateur gyms that's ever graced. That was Penreal, where Colin Jones, who I came probably Colin 76 Olympics, and then I came after Colin. But I grew up with such a well schooled gym, So for me, boxing was about hitting them, don't get it yourself. So it's I used to dictate from the middle of the ring, and if somebody wants to pressure me, and I had to fight to get from around the corner, that's what I would do. But I was very lucky, that I had a bit of a brain on me.
Obviously, and of course, you came from that tremendous world school in those years, and. But here we are. This is round 3, and Rocky's coming out. He's coming out seemingly with some intent. And he's clipped Trevor Smith around the back of the ear with a swing overhand right.
I think that's the only way for Rocky. He's got pressure to the ropes and loads. Because if he stands back and lets him dictate the fight, then it's only going to go one way.
No, he's going to lose on points. So he really has to pressure, and it really, to be honest with you, it's entirely whether Rocky actually wants to pressure. As a title challenger, he should really come in and want to win this fight. And to be honest with you, I think he can, but he's got to have to maintain this pressure. He looks fit enough.
Yes, he's looking well tonight, and that's the way he's got it. That's the way it's got to be.
Talking of that Welsh school, of course, it was a hard road, wasn't it, for Welsh boxers? I mean, there were very few home wins or home events that they could build their records up, and I think they were a lot less fortunate than the English and Scottish counterparts in that respect, weren't they, Floyd? Back in the day.
Yes, we had some great fighters coming through the ranks, and this was years before I turned professional, and but with an hard old breed down there, and it's but they don't burn them out like they used to. It seems that Enzo, obviously, McNally's made a return now, but
how do you see that one? I mean, he was a very, very, very big cruiserweight, and now he's come down. Is it to super light heavyweight?
Yeah.
I'd read about that, and I couldn't see that one stacking up, I've got to say.
I
mean, I know you knew all about, you know, weight changing and all that because, you know, you yourself were adaptable to the new sciences. But Macarinelli at light heavyweight, you know, for me, you know, was a tough one, that one.
Obviously, it boils down to your decision at the end of the day. But for those looking on the outer skin, he's achieved quite a lot, and in his last few years. But I think he's going to be a stepping stone for some young breed of fighters coming through. You know.
Well, I do. Well, here we go now. It's Trevor Smith against former pro Rocky Moscus for the WSO British light middleweight title, and it was a reasonable last round, and Moscus really showed quite a lot of intent in that last round, and let's see what transpires here. But Smith still looking generally in control.
That's the only way that Rocky's going to be taking the belt home tonight, and he's going to go to him, and he's going to pressure him, and he's going to.
Well, that's right, but Smith's doing the pressuring now, and he's got Moscus backed against the ropes, although he ships a left hook there, and back comes Moscus, and as you quite rightly say, that's what he has to do.
Yeah. He's young, he's confident and cocky, so.
But you know, there's the former pro there. I mean, Smith must have tried to land 4 shots and not one of them actually hit the button, did it? Moscus just using his experience just to sway out of the way, and nothing actually landed. And in a way, of course, Rocky, you know, retired young as a pro, but he doesn't seem to put on the pounds like other pros. He's only moved up 2 weights, Floyd, which some of them are moving up 6 weights when they start to decline. Sven Hammer's boxing tonight started at super middle.
Yeah. But Rocky, I think, would, if he put his mind to it, he'd probably come down another weight, you know. But
well, as I said, the conditioning is certainly better than people younger than him, and I think once you've been a pro and you get used to that conditioning side of things, I think it's difficult to lose it. Whereas some of these lads who haven't done all that, you know, they do get tired out very easily.
Yes, it's what you eat is what you are. You know, it's. I didn't used to think like that. I used to listen and hear of the old breed telling me that you should eat this and you should eat that and not eat that. But times change, it's like anything.
Well, no, that's absolutely right, and there's a million theories on nutrition, and things have changed over the years, and sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Well, here we go. There's an interlude. We're on the Rocky Moscus sitting on his stool and Trevor Smith standing. Here we go, into the final round of the WSO British middleweight title between Rocky Moscus, challenger, against Trevor Smith. I think Rocky's got to have a decent last round to snatch a chance of getting this one, Floyd.
Yes, I think he's got to go for it now, you know, and that's the only way he's going to take the belt back.
Well, Smith actually landing with the cleaner shots in these exchanges, rather wild and disorganised from Moscus. Well, he connected with a decent left hook, but a lot of this isn't landing. It isn't landing, and Smith came back with one that it definitely did, and caught him again.
Yeah. And this is the only way that Rocky's going to take the title home with it. He's got to go for him, you know. And
but he is trying to, Floyd. But Smith landing with a bit of shots as catching Moscus coming in.
I would like to see it going over 5 rounds.
Yeah, I think it will. Well, he gave it a good go in that last round.
To welcome into the ring to let the championship belt.
I feel that if Rocky had gone for it in the earlier stages, that it would have been a totally different fight. It's just that you let him.
I think Smith, did pick him off with the cleaner shots, and it's.
Right, boxers, when you get a moment, if you'd like to come to the centre of the ring, Teddy, over here, my friend.
It's.
Just to remind you once again that Teddy is in promotional partnership with Joey and Warren Pyle. Rocky, Trevor. Right, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of 5 very hard-fought rounds of boxing, I've scored the contest 50 points to 46 in favour of, and still, light middleweight champion of Great Britain, Trevor Smith. Well done, Trevor.
Well, I think that was a fair enough decision, actually, from the referee.
And presenting the championship belt, Teddy Bam Bam. Thank you, Teddy.
I thought it was a fair enough decision, Floyd. I think Smith picked him off with the better shots, looked generally in control. When Moscus came forward, he was a little bit wild and disorganised. Did have a half-decent last round, but fair decision.
Yes, I won't dispute that. It's Rocky's a durable fighter, and he'll always be that at the end of the day. But